will be in like 2 or 3 minutes. Just got stream up and going. Arranging everything else. It's not, but I just selected them program. Come on, roll 20, show me the videos. Yeah, I'm not getting, that's having issues finding anybody right now. He's dead. There we go. That helped a lot. Hey, everybody's here. Excellent. Okay. Oh. There. No, you were reloading. There we go. Yeah, it's gonna be real nice when I get that capture card going, because my system won't be all boggy like it is. We had ended with Fizz saying, "Hey, let's all go have one last meal here before we leave Opportunity. I want to talk to you guys." And so we kind of ended with everybody gathering around the table and food being placed and at one of the inns nearby. No, he hasn't. That's I cut it off with the cliffhanger. Okay. Once you load your camera again, we're good to go. All right. Okay. Let me get that up. What was that? All right. Welcome back to Renaissance of the Antiquities. Session 35. Homeward Bound. So last time, our adventurers had just returned from Uveth Islet, where they defeated the doppelganger that was controlling the Dwarven embassy and rescued Nevromri, Deep Fury, a dwarf who you thought you had met, but truly hadn't up until that point. The following month and a half began as Reginald wanted to stay and recover the mind of Nevromri, who had taken some serious sanity losses in his time and conditions up on the outskirts of the islet. A number of things were done around town. People gathered information, worked in bars, went out drinking with each other. Nithir attempted to learn more from Menshak Ugata, the shaper of Opportunity, of her past, along with other things.
No. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Not about my past, about my
your race.
my race. Right.
Yes. Just kind of your past. But and a little bit of downtime was had where people could collect themselves from the recent slurry of events that have been happening in the couple of months prior. This crazy journey you had all found yourselves on that started off as simply traveling through a mountain pass when a sky ship of some sort exploded above all of your heads. which sets you on a course that you still aren't sure where it's headed. However, we pick back up at the end of this downtime. 6 or so weeks have gone by, and everybody is gathering to leave Opportunity shortly, just after some word of some sort of event having happened at Ericross, your next destination. Apparently, something happened to the mining town, and an arbiter had made its way back to Opportunity to report to the Shaper. During this time, you also picked up a new compatriot, Raoul, a astrocraft researcher and expert, who, according to Shaper Ogata, will be very valuable to your endeavors, considering your interest in the anchors of this realm. So, with everybody prepped and ready to go, you all decided to have one last meal at the mediocre little fishing village tavern that you all have been frequenting in your time here in Opportunity. You all are at the table. Food has been brought, drinks, wine, mead, whatever has been requested is there. And that's where we come up.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me in this last meal before we head out to Opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, that there's unfortunately something we need to discuss before we head out towards the mountains. You see, I kind of grew up in that area, and let's just say I'm not particularly fond of it, and they're not particularly fond of me. You may or may not see some signs with, perhaps a bounty on my head. But, we shouldn't have to worry about that as long as I keep my hat of disguise nearby.
Well, hail, Fizz, what'd you do?
And if the signs the same thing. What?
It's,
Why would they put a bounty on you?
It's merely a misunderstanding of circumstances. The Lord Holden of Holden Outpost. It does not. Let's just say he's not very happy with me.
You could tell us what happened.
Wizard says, I bet I have a guess.
I bet you do, Wizard. I was younger at the time, and this was quite a couple of years before you guys found me in Balin. A couple cycles, I should say. Lord Holden, he's not the greatest of guys. He kind of just, there's a lot of peasants and farmers for the most part in the area, and he feels a little bit more important than he should. He does spend some time in Opportunity now and then, but his wife is very beautiful, very attractive, very alluring. And, well, one thing sort of just led to another. And, yeah, he kind of found out. And I was given the option of leaving to never return or being hanged. I chose to leave.
Amusing story.
Yes. So, I think it'd probably be best if, I just rode inside the caravan and kept my hat and disguise handy. But I thought you guys should know. I mean, a mistake of my youth, I suppose.
I'm quite impressed you told us.
Well, really, really, it's really why I didn't want to go to the mountain first. And, we have to go there now because it sounds like there's other things afoot. So it couldn't really be avoided. I struggled with trying to deciding whether or not to tell you guys, and yeah, it was just, I don't know, like, Lord Holt is not necessarily a great person. Like, he's always taxing the farmers way more than they should be, and some of that money ends up being spent at the whorehouses here and opportunity. Like, he's not a good person. He's quite the hypocrite for not, I did not come on to his lady. She came on to me. So,
Well, it sounds your story different, though. It was no different than mine or Taween. We didn't want to go back to the forest. Different reasons, but I understand. Thank you for telling us.
I'm not from too far from where we're heading either.
no.
More west.
Yes.
In the oh fuck. What's the can we get a look at the map real quick, Navarre? I don't want to mess up your cool little thing you got going on here.
We have a pop-up, right?
Oh yeah, we do. You're right. We forget that, Navarre. Or you're already doing
Okay.
it. So. I forgot we had a.
Well, you're there now.
All right.
It takes a long time to load.
Yeah. Only the first time. Once it's in your cache, if I come back to it, it'll be faster the second time around.
And then everything's black.
Yeah. Oh,
Broke roll.
I know what happened.
Broke roll 20.
Where's the pop-up? Let's see.
Where is the pop-up?
Duhana. Town.
There you go.
There, okay. From the Highlands there?
Yes. He, my mother wasn't the most friendliest person in the world, so she wasn't too fond of actually living in any towns or anything, so it was usually a few days walk or ride on some type of horse to actually get to the nearest town. She liked the mountains, the seclusion of the mountains up in that area.
Well, Fizz, I mean, don't you got family back at that area?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I was never a huge fan of them. I mean, they were just, growing up, it was just farmers. not a lot to do. Not a lot going on. Very boring.
Like in your
I
dreams,
gotta.
where they were always
Yeah.
trying to make you work all the time.
They certainly tried. You know, my parents have enough kids. I mean, I was how many siblings do I have? You know, I'm 7 of 9, so it's not like they really needed me.
Wow, 9.
So
A lot of siblings.
9 siblings, yeah. Most of them
8.
older than me. Well, now, yeah, sure, 8. I was counting myself in the 9.
Yeah, remember, math is important.
Sometimes.
So we're leaving tomorrow then?
Yes, I believe that's the plan.
I'm ready to head out whenever.
All right, I'll have to get some things to collect my. I carry pretty light for the most part because I travel so much. But if we got such a big
Of
caravan,
course
might as
you would
well
choose the hanging, goddammit.
get some things in the morning, if you know what I mean. Drex, you think you can fit a couple kegs of something on your caravan?
I mean, yeah, we can just strap them onto the side.
Wonderful.
Fizz. Signing. Now remember, Tim, you can't understand this unless somebody
No.
translates, but
Not yet.
right. Yeah, not yet. Is that why you've been drinking? While you were so sad?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to go back there. I'd rather not get hanged if they find me. I wasn't never particularly fond of my father. I mean, he was nice enough. He'd take me to the outpost to trade with the merchants, but didn't really appreciate me spending all my time with my loot, tricking my brothers into my chores.
Actually sounds nice, but I understand.
It's just, it was too small of a place for me. I knew I could do better, be better.
Well, we won't let them hang you.
I appreciate that, Matthew.
Even you, right, Reggie?
Yeah. Well, we won't let him be hanged.
Okay. Well,
And on the way, Navromri should be pretty cleared up in his mind, and we can talk with him too. He said he'd come along.
sounds good. Reggie, could you pick up some different types of the grains and nuts?
Drix,
Just a little bit.
or are you? I guess you are signing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get some on my way through market before we leave.
Thank you. An extra for Taween.
Of course.
I'll keep working with him.
And so, dinner goes by. You all have a filling meal and chat about this and that in your time that you've spent here, an opportunity, a bit more of a restful time. Eventually, Wizard is probably the first to get up and bid his adieu for the night, wanting to get one more night of bed rest before having to go on the road again. Shortly after that, Drix is passed out face first on the table, having drank a few too many cups, as per usual. And the tavern itself is beginning to sort of dwindle down. People are leaving and going to bed, and
See you in the morning.
Yes.
so everybody finds their way back toward rest. And last night, an opportunity, perhaps, comes to an end.
For now, at least.
The following morning comes, and despite having passed out face first on the table, Drix is up bright and early and at the caravan for anyone who's out there.
Yeah, I'm there.
And getting it ready. Reggie, who was out at the caravan as well, says he's going to be leaving a bit early this morning before we get headed off, so that I can go pick up Nevromri and grab some of those grains and stuff from the market before we leave. Did you want to come, Nithyan?
Sure.
All right. So as the rest of you begin to stir and eventually collect your way back at the carriage, Nithyan and Reginald head out to the tavern, go pick up Nevromri. When you get there, you see that he's out in the common area, a different tavern that he's been staying at in one of the nicer quarters of town. And he goes, good morning. Before we leave, I must go back to the embassy. I have some things to pick up before we head out. And I must send word. The embassy should be fine functioning without me for a while, but I do need to let people know. Shall I meet you at your carriage, or do you wish to accompany me?
I think we would accompany. So I'll tell.
Reginald relays that. All right. And so you guys make your way out around the edge of opportunity into the Martial Marches, which is, as you're moving back through it, more vacant than you've ever seen it. A lot of the tents have actually been taken down, and it looks like a sparse field more than anything else, with the training grounds just kind of standing there empty. There's still a couple of tents here and there, and there's still the setup for the town guard itself that still maintains their rotations and stuff, but it's definitely a change of pace for this quarter. But you make your way to the embassy. Nevromir steps in, and you see he does some magical like motions towards the illusory clerk in the front and gives it a few commands to continue the exchanges and turn away anybody who has any more elaborate problems. Some basic setup for his absence. And he says, I must go send communications. If you would wait here, I shall be back shortly. He heads off into the back of the embassy through the sealed door on the wall. A few minutes go by. Then he comes back out. You see he's got a little pack of supplies now as well. He says, I have let my communications contact Dranel Vilgar know that what is going on here. And, well, I did not hear back. Should take some time for it to reach him. But this is a bit uncharacteristic to leave one's post, but, well, after all that's happened, I could use a little break. And I have some unfinished business that I have remembered lately. But we have time to talk.
I assume Reggie's talking to him, because I can't talk to him.
Anything you want to say, Reggie will translate.
Okay. No, I don't have anything to say. I just say, glad we probably have lots of questions. We'll look forward to talking to you about them.
Yes, and we will have time to discuss. I might not be able to answer all of your questions, but I will do what I can. And so, you all leave the embassy. As you step out the front door, before we go, any last-minute currency exchanges we need to make? It is not wise to travel with more weight than needed.
I have no idea what Reggie's got.
Reggie just says, no, I think we're fine. I've done most of that already. And so, you guys make your way back to the carriage. Fizz, Raoul, anything you guys are up to before heading to the carriage as everybody's gathering?
So I would be sleeping I would be sleeping at the inn that I've been sleeping at this whole time.
Yep.
And then he would wake up early as well. He's an early waker-upper, even though you think you'd be surprised with how much he drinks, how early he can actually wake up. And it has to do with a lot with his fortitude and whatnot, ability to do shit. He is going to walk himself up to I'm guessing he's staying at a tavern, so he could probably just go downstairs and talk to the person who owns that tavern. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm about to go out on a trip. It'll be quite a while before we get back, so I'm gonna make sure I'm all set up on the supplies.
I'm not a general store, but I can help out with a few things.
You probably have exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking
All
for
right.
a barrel of common wine, just cheap stuff.
A whole barrel?
Yes.
Normally that thing's sold by the bottle. We don't really keep barrels of it.
Do you have any?
Yes, we have lots of bottles.
Bottles would be really hard to carry. A lot more inefficient. So you don't have any barrels. Does anyone in town sell barrels of wine?
Well, I mean, perhaps if you went to the farmer's district, They have wineries there. I'm sure that they have it in something larger before they bottle it, but they sell it in bottles.
Excellent. Excellent. And then I'll thank you, and he'll just walk off. He has like all of his. He can pretty much carry everything that he owns in a bag, in a just a regular backpack, in a regular backpack. Oh, Daranara.
Good luck.
And then I am going to go to the farmers district. I'm also going to look to see if there's any place that sells chili peppers.
Chili peppers.
Yes. And I've already done the math, so a normal barrel of wine can hold up to 600 bottles of wine, which is 600 silver pieces, so 600 red astron.
Okay.
If you're okay with that math.
Yeah. You stop by a winery and you pick up an entire casket of wine.
Ah. Here you go. I will pay him in 6 plat. I know this is a weird order, but we're going long distance, and buying that many bottles of wine would just be too inefficient.
Saves me the trouble of bottling it, so...
Excellent. Till next time, my good friend.
Right.
Then I'm also going to look for if there's any place that sells any type of peppers. Like hot peppers. I know this is a very weird request, but I have a reason
one is a little bit of a strange request. And it's not something necessarily...
Spices are common.
In a world that has trade that flows normally.
Yeah.
But in Endrial, what is available is generally just what's grown in the area.
Yeah. So if that's
and
not available,
more exotic things are harder to come by. But go ahead and roll, I don't know, perception, survival, whatever you think is relevant to finding peppers in the market.
I'll roll perception.
I would say investigation if this were 5e, but we don't have that, so...
No. I'll roll perception since that makes more sense. I'm looking at signs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. You don't quite find chili peppers, but you do find a bit more of a mild pepper. Closer to a bell pepper.
Yeah.
Those are locally grown.
Sadly, this will have to do.
But from what you gathered, asking around for chili peppers, you would have to travel far to the south, which is where they more commonly found.
I'll have to remember that next time. I will buy pound of your peppers, which is 2 gold pieces.
Yep.
So two blues.
2 blues.
I was look. I have a reason why I'm doing this. It's for a bit, kind of, but
You do you.
Excellent. Thank you. So I now have a barrel of wine and a bag of peppers.
Stocked and ready to go on your supplies. Is there any other eclectic things?
That's all he brings with him, except for just the stuff that he already has in his bag.
Nice.
And then he'll go to the caravan.
Okay. If there's anything for you, sir?
Nope. Just probably waking up a little bit later than normal and just moseying on down to the caravan, leave so that I don't have to help out with loading up the caravan.
Fair enough.
In the early morning, I should say.
Mm-hmm. So, You all slowly, over the course of the early morning, begin to congregate at the carriage. It's not until a little closer to just before noon that you all actually get together, as people are off doing this, that, and the other this morning. But eventually, everyone gathers. Raoul, when you get to the carriage and you check the water barrel...
Oh, yes. He will be checking this every day.
There's something else in the water barrel. Smells a little rancid and chunky and a bit like vomit.
Been around a lot of people who threw up because they tried to outdrink me. That smells like vomit. Who threw up in my barrel of water? You're contaminating the Astron crystal that's inside.
Well, did you just leave that barrel outside? I mean, anybody passing by could have thrown up into it.
This will not do. You know what? I wanted to.
Palming in the corner.
It kind of dawned on me the other night that I have to look. I have never studied white Astron, anyways, so I'm just going to.
Clear.
We'll start the experiment again some other time. You guys not hear me?
Yeah,
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
we heard you.
All right. We'll just have to restart the experiment another time. And then I'll get the barrel of water. I'll dip my hand in the water, grabbing the Astron crystal first, and then I'll just dump the water.
Okay. Wash the vomit off of a bit of your scales that gets on it, reaching in, but you have the clear Astron crystal in your hand now.
Thank God we didn't contaminate the Astron crystal.
It looks entirely unchanged from after Reginald cleared it.
Excellent. All right, let's go.
And so, everybody gathers on the carriage. The dogs are there and excited. They can feel the excitement of the horses being attached and getting ready to leave. Drick says, let's see. From what I understand, it's going to be kind of a similar kind of travel to where we went to Fort Marion. It's going to be a few weeks. But hopefully that all goes well. We are kind of picking a little bit of a bad time to be traveling, to be honest. As the autumn maelstroms are pretty much around the corner in a couple weeks. And so that might slow us down a bit, and we might need to find some shelter for a while, but I suppose we'll have to deal with that when we get there.
No time like the present.
Yeah, I think time is not on our side, so we should probably get going, and I'm sure we can find some sort of shelter along the way if necessary.
And to give a little bit more background to the maelstroms that happen twice during the year, it's a little different for different parts of the realm, but in general, it comes with horrible weather. We're talking catastrophe level weather. You've heard rumors that on the coastal cities, it can get to the point where it's equivalent to tsunamis or hurricanes. Inland, which Fizz, where you're from, and many of you from around Opportunity in the area, you might be familiar with horrible, massive tornadoes that come through the areas and will entirely obliterate crops. In fact, many cities and villages and groups of people will spend a couple of weeks before the Maelstrom, and this is part of All Souls Days, is the really big end push for this, but where people will go and fortify their homes or evacuate their homes and go to nearby caverns or caves or inside of the keeps and castles nearby, something more fortified. The entirety of normal civilization and day-to-day activity kind of halts for that week or two the Maelstroms come through, as it is a danger to really do much else. I mean, people do travel, but it's at their own risk. It would be like knowing a hurricane is hitting Florida and deciding to take a vacation there anyway. So that's kind of the sense of the Maelstroms. In any case, you all get geared up, and the carriage begins to move. Wizrune and Willie are studying inside the caravan. You have Drix driving it. Nivromori is kind of just hanging out on the interior, talking with Reginald over his alchemy table. Viz, are you up on the side driver's seat as normal, or on the interior?
I mean, for like we've got several days before we're anywhere near.
Weeks.
I guess it's Holden
Weeks.
Keep now.
It's like 500 miles away.
Yeah, so I'll ride up by the front with Drix. Yeah.
And Raul, where is his normal hangout spot? Just to kind of set the day-to-day travel feel.
Raul will find himself a nice spot to do his own studying, as he now has the white Astron crystal, examining it, and he'll be like, "Before I start really getting into deep research, I have to get the blood flowing. I gotta open up the blood veins in my body. That's why I bought these." He just starts eating one of the peppers. Really gets the blood flowing. I was hoping it'd be a little bit hotter. He's going to be a very interesting man when it comes to research. He's just gonna, because he's not smart. He just does shit.
Thinks it helps him.
Yes.
Good.
I can already feel it. Thoughts are coming to my mind. Ideas coming, rushing to my head. And then he'll spend some time researching the white Astron crystal for a little bit.
Clear crystal.
He will clear crystal. There will be times when, there will be times where he takes a break though, and during those times, he'll just open up the back door of the caravan and jump out and start running right behind the caravan. And he'll be like, gotta work mind and body.
Oh. To give a bit more detail on the caravan, it is a side door that you would have to jump out of, but nevertheless works the same. And it would be it would be fairly crowded on the interior of the caravan itself, as there's already 4 or 5 people plus the 4 dogs and the squirrel cage. It's pretty tight in there now with the group you're traveling with. However, you do notice, all of you, that there is a new hatch installed on the roof that seems to lead up to, with a little unfolding ladder that comes down, where you can go up and fit through this, hole, where you would be just behind the ballista that is mounted on the top, underneath the covered area.
Is there quite a bit of room on the ceiling, on the roof?
There's a good amount of space. I mean, so there's like the hatch itself, and then there's maybe 3 or 4 feet behind that, a lot of which is filled with the supplies and various sacks and barrels and stuff that Drix has procured. But then there's a foot or so to either side of the hatch that is mostly clear, and then about a foot in front of the hatch as well is where the kind of small circular seat that has been installed into the roof sits, where you would sit to mount the ballista itself. If you're sitting on that seat off to your left on the ground is a bundle with a few more of the ballista bolts, and you can kind of swivel it a bit. It only really has like it can't swivel entirely left or right 90 degrees as it is a covered rounded canvas over the top, but it could generally shoot in front of you in like a cone-like shape. And then in front of the ballista, it almost immediately drops down and into the 2 driver's seats.
Okay.
So there's space up there for probably 1 person comfortably, 2 with a little bit of a tight fit.
How'd you guys all used to fit in this thing? It's very uncomfortable. I picture him just saying this as he's just running right beside the caravan.
Reginald looks over it. Well, I mean, we didn't used to have so many people and animals we traveled with. He's shouting a little over the wagon wheels. One of the dogs, seeing you leaps out after you and starts to run after you, nipping at your heels.
This dog understands me. Keep up. Keep up, Poochie.
Pretty sure that's Dancer.
Yep.
They have names. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, Tywin used to ride on the roof. I think that gave it room.
Man that liked the fresh air. I can respect that. Maybe I'll go up there. Too crowded, I can't do anything. Maybe the sun will hit this crystal just right. And you know what? Yes, that's what I'll do. And then after a while, after he gets his afternoon run in, he'll get back in the caravan. And then he'll work his way up to the roof.
Okay.
He'll sit up on that chair and just like, at one point he'll point the crystal at the sun, if there is one in the sky right now.
Yep.
Probably 2.
Maybe if it's clear, so the sun can shine right through it, we'll learn something from that.
You hold it up to the light of the day, and you do see against the canvas of the carriage cover, when you position it right, it does split the light into a prism, and you see a rainbow on the wall. Faint, but there.
He'll like pull out some notes, a notebook that he has, and he'll like write some stuff and then draw it as well. That's very interesting. Learning things up here, people.
Is the hatch to the front open?
I don't think I would have shot it.
No, I'm for the caravan.
To the driver's section?
Hatch. Yeah.
Drix generally keeps it closed, but it's easy enough to open. Unless people are wanting airflow, in which case it's sometimes opened.
Okay. Yeah, I would think it'd normally be open because you'd want to have air flowing through.
Yeah, that works.
Inclement weather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My routine while we're traveling is not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot I can do. Unless somebody wants lessons wants signing language lessons, or We actually have a group discussion of some sort. With Fizz up front, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to do either, other than my loot.
At least-
Entertain people.
At least while we're driving it, I don't have anything to do.
Right. And you guys have all kind of, already established some of your routines because you guys have traveled quite a distance in this thing before. So there are lessons being had. People are studying, tinkering with alchemy, screwing around with crystals on top. Your loot is going off from time to time. And there's the general hum and buzz of activity on the carriage. Wizrune ever so often yelling at one of the dogs because it's getting up on top of him and being annoying. Or Wizrune yelling at Willie for this, that, or the other. And so your journey commences as you begin to travel northwest away from opportunity through the grasslands of farms and small little outskirt buildings and whatnot that come along. It begins to, there are copses of trees that dot the landscape, and you have to go through a small patch of them from time to time. This road itself is fairly well treaded, and you can even see it looks like it's recently been widened a bit. Some of the brush and trees are cut down or pushed off to the side, or just some of the undergrowth has been, cleared and seems to be trodden down on and trampled. But you begin your travels. Along the journey, as it is going to be a number of weeks, to be precise, it'll be about almost 3 weeks total. Just short of 3 weeks. So, are there any, aside from camping and your setting up of day-to-day activities and the routine that you all find yourselves in, as you go through this journey, are there any major conversation points or events that any of you have for yourselves that come up along the way?
Let's see.
The only last thing I want to note with Raul's day-to-day stuff is the second the sun goes down, or whenever it's like we're done traveling for the day, we're making camp, he instantly stops doing everything that he's doing and just busts out a glass and starts drinking some wine.
Okay.
Work hard during the day, relax during the night. Worked out a sweat both mentally and physically.
Raul, I'm starting to like you.
I bought a whole barrel. This should last us a while.
You hear Wizard mutter in the background, too much energy. As he saunters off to find his own little area in the clearing.
So, yeah. I mean, I suppose a barrel will get us pretty far. I think I'm gonna lay off the stuff for a little bit, though.
Good idea. You were.
Yeah.
No, I never saw you when you came back, so I don't know that you were that bad.
I'm sure RJ mentioned, I was in bed for several days.
That's true. Forgot about that part. Yeah, RJ said something about you needing a couple days to relax. You partied too hard.
Yeah.
Now live
Yes,
a balanced life.
And it is my recommendation as your doctor to not consume any alcohol for a while.
Yeah.
What about me?
You seem fine,
Excellent.
but don't
And
overdo it. It can damage your body.
Do you know a lot about his kind of bodies?
I don't know really anything about them, no.
Don't
What do you-
worry.
What is he called again?
What?
Dracus.
You're starting to understand what I'm signing?
Yeah.
Where do you think you are at in learning, just so I can kind of gauge it?
I don't know. I probably know like normal. I probably know like the basics. So
You've
I
been
probably
learning
didn't
for
hear
a
that
couple
at all.
weeks already.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, you say you catch that one. I look at you and I go, very good.
Yes. I told you I'm a fast learner.
Dracoth, and I create a sign for that.
Now, to be more specific, I am a Ruskin. My ancestors were copper dragons. Now, I do have a little red dragon in my blood as well. My mother was a red dragon. Well, a Dracus red dragon. My father never met him. He was a copper dragon like me. Or Ruskin. That's at least what my mother told me. And
So-
from what I've been told, Ruskins are very adept to drinking alcohol, where it takes a lot to get one of us drunk. We have natural immunities to it.
Well, that makes sense.
I actually took a trait that makes it so it's very hard to get me drunk. And also, I have a con, so I think I can have. I can have like 7 or 8 drinks before I even have to start rolling for if I'm drunk or not.
Yeah, you can pretty much drink anyone at the table before you're even phased.
And with that, he'll pull out the cork in the barrel and pour himself a glass.
It's got a
I'll
little
have to,
spout that you can turn.
Ah, wonderful. These guys were smart.
It's got a
They
tap.
put a tap in it.
I'll have to visit your homeland sometime and perhaps play there. Your kid must get some pretty large tabs.
I've never actually been to my homeland, or at least the homeland of the Dracus. That's way south. I've never gone that south before. Dragon's Breach.
So then, where are you from?
I mentioned it earlier today. I'm my mother. She enjoyed the solidity of the Silent Mountains range. Can't be more quiet than a place literally called the Voice, or is it Silent or Voiceless? Sorry. No, it's one of the
Oh,
two.
well, never mind.
Was it just you and your mother, or?
Yes.
Huh.
Now we would travel to the nearest town every once in a while to collect supplies, but she did not like other people. She after a while she kicked me out. But she's the main reason I know that you gotta keep physical, both mentally and physically and body wise. Used to train me all the time. She was a powerful woman.
I can train with you.
Yes. You're the little thing that we did like a week ago or so, that was tiring, that's for sure. But much more movement and dancing. That's at least how I saw it as. Not bad. It was a great workout.
Limber you up.
Yes, that it will. He was much more into like stances and taking things slow. More like more thinking like a yoga type thing where you're like doing stances and moving the body and whatnot.
Yeah, I do that.
Ah. But yeah, like I don't even remember what the town was called that we used to stop by. They always looked at us, that's for sure. You don't see too many Dracula, that's for sure, in that area.
No, I don't think I've ever seen one of your kind.
Not many of us. Like I said, unless you go to Dragon's Breach, you won't see many of us anywhere.
Navarre, reminder for myself. When we saw the tapestries in that one area, weren't there some of them flying? Or is this something different?
There were depictions of dragons.
Okay. And it would be normal information to know how dragons are born?
Knowledge Arcana
I don't have that.
is what dragons fall under.
Lizards. That'd be nature. I don't have that either.
That'd be nature for lizards.
Okay. But I've seen other things. I don't know.
But I mean,
I wouldn't know.
it's fairly common knowledge that, the lizards hatch from eggs. That's not really something that you need to be not like trained on.
Oh, okay. So that's where I'm gonna go. So I asked that question. So were you hatched?
You mean from an egg?
Yes.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I'm going to go off what we kind of talked about there, Navarre. You said you weren't like 100% on that idea, but you can stop me if I say anything you don't like.
Yep.
See, you see, a Dracus mother actually has to keep the egg near her at all times to keep the flow of energy between her and her egg. If she's too far away from the egg for too long, it will pretty much kill the baby inside. I'm
Spot on.
not a doctor like the good Reginald over here, but that's the basis of the idea.
Well, certainly a weird way to have kids.
Life is weird. That's what keeps it interesting. Like even you said your farm life was too dull for you, so you know of what I mean when I say keeping some type of excitement in your life needs to happen.
Oh yes, life is not worth living if you're not having some sort of fun.
Sometimes the weirdest things are the funnest things.
Drick speaks up, says, one time I was traveling with my my friends, and this little nest of birds we came across, the mother had been killed. She fell and broke her wing or something. So we took them eggs and we kept them warm and we hatched them. That's kind of like how you Raul.
Same concept, yes. You gotta keep some type of body temperature or energy against an egg at all times, or what's inside will get cold and die off. Like I said, I'm not no doctor, so don't ask me to get too specific. I'm a man of Astron.
So So the father doesn't need to stay. So that's probably why you didn't know your father.
Sort of, yeah. Actually, that's. My mother never really got into it too much. I don't really know much about that whole thing, to be honest. I'd ask her about him, but she would. I don't know. It's not like she avoided it. She just
Didn't talk about it.
didn't talk about it. It's sometimes it feel like asking that question would suck the energy right out of her, and she'd just walk away. I think she still misses him somewhat, even though she will never admit that in her life. She would die before she'd admit that. Hard woman, tough egg to crack.
I get it.
She says I take after my father a lot more than her. Kind of probably why she kicked me out eventually. I need to start my adventure anyways. Pick up where my father left off in his studies.
It is.
Everything.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Navar. I wasn't really going to say anything there.
Nerome says, it is good to see a Drakith that is not cursed by their past. Many of them live horrid lives, from what I've understood.
That's what I've kind of heard too. I've heard a lot of the Drakith that's down in Dragon Breach. They're little glum and doom down there. Well, I don't want to go down there. I don't need that type of negative energy around me.
I've heard the same. But on Dicopus, we actually have some of the true dragon kind there. I see the qualities in you. Very passionate, very pronounced traits.
Yeah.
Oh.
As we're having this conversation, he's just drinking right out of a glass with his wine. Probably on his second one by now.
Well, no, Roy, if they're that sad, it sounds like they could use a really good bard. Just another reason for me to make my way down there someday.
To where?
Dragon Reach or Breach or wherever.
It is, from what I have
the
been
tabs,
told.
Navarone.
I'm sure.
Well, Raul here is already on his second glass. Going to be made.
As long as you stay within the keep. I hear if you go outside, it is likely goblins kill you.
Well. I won't travel by myself.
And I don't know if at some point during the night I will go back to training with Nith to work on the sign language. He sees that more as like a chill thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably maybe scrounge up some firewood. Is anybody going to do that? I'd be willing to tag along.
I'll help. Let's go.
Sure.
Do you have a way to cut it?
That's a good question. I don't think I do. I do not.
I can probably break it.
I was just planning on picking up some deadwood and, maybe a small branch here or there.
Okay. I'll help you carry it.
And I'm also gonna look for perhaps some rarer woods, if possible,
Okay.
for the thing that I'm planning on doing down the road. So
Go ahead and roll a perception as you stroll through the evening, collecting sticks and stuff, looking for rare trees. While you have a pretty good sense of what you're looking for, a few more exotic trees do come to mind. What kind of qualities in a tree are you looking for? Is it just something rare and unique, or are you looking for something that is particularly strong or pliable, or did you have parameters?
I think rare and unique, because I'm going to be using this to make wands, so rare and unique.
I see. Okay. I mean, you come across a handful of it's mostly oak trees out here, the occasional pine, but with the time that you do spend out here, and it's getting it's on the dusk side of things, as the carriage doesn't really begin to start until the suns begin dipping down on the horizon, trying to make the most of the daylight in travel time. Tonight you don't really have much success.
Cool. Besides that, I'm just picking up deadwood to take back.
Likewise.
On your way back,
do I notice that he's kind of checking trees out?
Probably.
I'm not hiding it or anything.
Okay. So, I'll ask, anything special you're looking for? More than just dead wood, it seems.
Yeah, just looking for more of like a rare tree. I don't know. I have a when I see it, I'll kind of like feel it, and that's when I don't know what I'm looking for.
Okay, I'll help you. That's it.
All right. So, nights similar to this are what consists of your travel as you begin to make your way toward Holden Keep and the mountains themselves. Little chit chats and stories of old, where people are from. Reginald shares a little bit of things that you've already more or less heard, but in conversation with Raoul, Nivromri, you get a little bit more sense of Nivromri, as he more or less seems to be more mentally here. At this point, it seems he used to be an adventurer like you, and that he traveled with a group, this was before he joined the official ranks of Dwarven society, in what they called the circles, which rank from 0 to 9. Ninth being the higher echelons of the form of government they have of sorts. From best you can understand, and how he explains it, it works more so by each circle has its own function and group. For example, the second circle He says, my superior, Dranil Vilgar, he is part of the second circle. He's talking about this one night around the fire. He is in charge of communications with the lower circle beneath him. The first circle being the one I am part of. We are more field agents. We go out and secure sites and tend to the embassies and other such natures. Yes, and then you have your higher ups, the highest order, the ninth circle, being that of the astro mages.
What? How far are we from him? His mind being whole?
You're pretty much right on top of it. He seems more or less all there. You can tell in speaking with him casually, he still is kind of remembering a lot of things, and some of his memories are a bit fuzzy, but more or less he seems whole.
Okay. Yep. Nothing yet.
So a few more days go by, and you're well under your journey. There's a number, about a week goes by in total, and there's a couple of little farming villages that you pass through occasionally. None that really have taverns or so, but Drix is able to stop and, restock some of the food supplies here and there, and they're more than happy to sell off their goods. But in the last couple of days, 2 days ago, you came across the village and it seemed entirely vacant or in the process of becoming vacant. People gathering up on the carts, and Drix mentions this is due to the maelstrom. And he goes and does some trade with some of them, and says, "Yep, they seem to be heading off to a set of caverns nearby here. They're going to be holed on up in there for a while, so it looks like this might be the last little pit stop we get for food and such. So if there's anything particular, they seem like pretty poor folk, but it might be your last opportunity for a little bit."
As long as we got enough food, I don't really need anything else right now.
Basic supplies, I've got us covered.
Nithir, do you need anything?
I think I have enough.
Nithir says he has enough.
All right.
Raul, I don't think they'll have any more wine for you.
I haven't even come close to tapping this thing out.
I don't know, we've been on the road for a week. How many glasses a night are you having?
He talks a big game, but if you actually watch, he actually doesn't drink that fast. He actually more or less enjoys each glass that he drinks.
He's a sipper, not a jugger.
It's very hard for him to actually get drunk, so he just drinks for the taste, less than the effects of alcohol that most people drink for.
I see.
Have I joined with Raul yet on a dream yet? I didn't I?
No, you have not.
Okay. I'd like to do that one night coming up here before the maelstrom.
Oh, so
Okay.
one thing at night that you guys will notice is he doesn't have a bed. What he does at night sometimes is he'll walk outside, and he's shown this to you guys a couple times, but what he does is he'll take a stance, he moves his body around, then he'll stomp on the ground, and then push his arms out in a pushing fashion, and then the ground next to him will move, and he's making like the ground smoother, so like kind of making like a bed out of the ground.
Like a nest.
Yeah.
So
That's
when
cool.
Raoul sleeps, does he kind of like lay down and curl up like you might see a lizard curl, or does he sleep more like a person sprawled out?
He'll sleep like a lizard does.
That's cool.
That's funny. So he's outside sleeping like a lizard, and Nithirn's in her lotus position, sitting there.
Now, when he's in town, he will sleep in a bed like normal people, but he enjoys sleeping like this when he's out on the travel.
Cool.
So at each campsite you leave behind, there's like this small little circular patch of slightly raised edges of dirt. The smooth interior, almost like a small little bowl. Excellent.
All right.
Raoul,
So
go ahead.
pick a night. Yep.
Yep. Before that, Raoul, go ahead and roll me an astrocraft, as you have been looking over the clear crystal for this week or so.
Yeah. And as he's studying it, he's eating his bell peppers like an apple.
Of course.
As he's very sad that it's not hotter.
The only way to eat a bell pepper.
An unusual man.
Oh, I eat bell peppers. All right. So, you were able to discern quite a number of the properties of a clear Astron crystal itself. Now, in your testing, you come to realize that this clear crystal, Raoul, is in ways more valuable than any other crystal you've ever come across. It seems to respond to a wide range of magical tests. Part of Astrocraft in its study, even though you don't necessarily do arcane magic, there are still Astrocraft itself. There are still little ways of manipulating magic on a base level that you can kind of, it's almost like a litmus test to see how an Astrocraft or an Astron reacts to different kinds of magic. And while you yourself don't understand the complexities of magic to like actually manifest this into a larger a spell or effect, you are still trained because of your Astrocraft to kind of do the very basic, to be able to summon the vague base essence of different types of magic for testing purposes. And the types of spells that a clear crystal will amplify the caster level of are spells with the descriptors, and I'll give you this a copy paste of this as well, are emotion, good, language dependent, lawful, meditative, mind affecting, and healing spells. And of course, that again comes at some of its charge based on the power of the spell that you channel through it. Additionally, in terms of what this type of crystal can be used to take the place of material components, they can take the place of material components that are related to healing. Specifically the subtype or the key term healing in spells. So think resurrections, think lesser restorations, stuff of that nature. And because of your 29, you determine, let's see. Because this inherently needs to be a part of Astrocraft due to the functioning of these items, that this crystal has a charge of 78. And that value is out of 100.
Cool. I have that all down in my Astron notes.
Mm-hmm. And the general element that a clear crystal resonates with is pure positive energy. Unlike for like a blue, for example, that resonates with the energy of water, this one is just purely positive.
Gotcha.
And those are some stats on the clear crystal.
One day when he when Miguel plays with us, hopefully next week, I'll go into more detail with Miguel next week. But at some point he'll like explain this with RJ.
Yep, no worries.
He knows RJ's a doctor, so he's like, maybe he'll be interested in the healing capabilities of this crystal.
And again, because you're an Astrocraft researcher and stuff, effectively, if you cast a first level spell using it, it will take up 1 charge, a second level, 2 charges, third level, 3 charges, and so on and so forth. For the caster level part, if you're doing material components, supplication, it is a little bit different, but we'll come to that when it comes to that. Anyway, so one of these nights, the night before All Souls Days begin, it's been a little over a week since you've left your journey. Yep.
So, I was waiting to observe you a little bit more, and then you hear one time in your sleep. You hear, "Raoul, don't be alarmed. This is Nithya. May we speak?"
Huh?
May I talk?
Am I dreaming?
Just to set the stage for you here, Raoul.
Yeah.
In your dream, you are tonight. You were dreaming of the more rocky hillsides you are used to calling home. You are having a dream tonight where there's a small little pack of bunnies that you've known to be nesting in the area, and you are crouched on top of a large rock, and then you leap from the rock on top towards the rabbits as they skitter off and try to escape you. And as you're sprinting along after them, you bounce off of one hillside and land and slide along the other side as you're scattering after them. So this is when you were a bit younger, but you feel like you're in your current self. And then you hear this voice of Nithya and kind of cut in as the rabbits bounce off and hide off into the distance as you kind of stand and are contemplating what the heck's happening.
A very smooth, melodious, comforting voice.
Yes, you're scaring away the rabbits.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my favorite.
You like to hunt? And then, of course, now I'm standing before you since you didn't resist. You see me standing before you, but I'm not in my normal outfits. But this time, I'm in something kind of not overly extravagant, but neat, kind of like something you haven't normally seen me in, but what you might consider something normal clothes. for someone walking around.
I knew
Hi.
the basics. Oh, hello. But no, I knew the basics of hunting. My mother was much better at it than me.
Yeah, I've never done much hunting. I've watched the elves in the woods do their hunting, where they hunted a lot of the animals throughout the woods for food. Myself, I don't usually eat. I can, but I just don't usually eat much live food that's been alive, animals. But it's okay. I have no problem with it.
See, unlike my mother, she actually has a flame breath. She could burn the rabbit right there and then, ready to eat.
Wow, that's interesting.
We would have to clean it a little bit, of course, but
Yeah.
that's why she was a lot better at it than me.
Yeah. Do you have a breath weapon too?
Yes, it's acidic in nature.
Oh, well, that probably wouldn't be so good for the food, though.
No, that's why I never used it.
So this is
Don't
what
like
you
the-
did.
Don't like the
ahead.
taste, anyways. It does not taste well on the tongue when I use it.
Is that why you eat peppers? Does that help you with that?
No, that's for my research.
Huh. Interesting.
Also, they just taste good.
I'm not sure I understand how it works. So yeah.
Gotta open up the veins in your body, get it right, going right into your head. The thinking noggin.
I haven't tried that. I'll take your word though. But I'm really impressed with your picking up sign language. You're doing very well.
Interesting.
And I appreciate it.
Unlike normal language, you use the body. It's different.
Yeah, it's necessary for me, but quite useful too.
See, I actually speak and write both Common and Draconic.
Draconic. I've never seen anybody write Draconic. Can you show me? And in your hand will appear paper, because if you think it, it's there.
Yeah. I'm in the dream world. I understand this.
Yeah.
I get like a chair as well as I start just writing down.
Wow.
I'll write down my name. See? Raul. That's my name. Raul Ventova.
Wow, that's very beautiful.
Don't know your full name, but
I'll show you mine. And then I'll write out, just for reference, it looks like that at the bottom of my character there.
Yeah.
Very beautiful script. Di Arn would be how it's pronounced. Well, I pronounce it in Elvish.
Yeah. I don't know Elvish, but from the words from the type of feeling that I'm getting from it, and I'll write in my notebook again. I have a feeling this is what your name would look like in Draconic. Show it to you.
Yep. And here's how you do it in sign.
Ah.
I usually keep it short though, with this myth. Much easier.
It is. It slips off the tongue much better.
Yeah. And you like this being called Raul, I assume?
Well, that's my first name. There's not more to it. Bentova is my last name.
Okay. I know Fizz, he really likes to use his whole name when he introduces himself.
He's an entertainer. They like to do that.
Oh yeah.
They like to come up with names sometimes too.
Well, you think
Some
he
of
came
them-
up with that one?
The wondrous part, probably. That's probably his own making. Now he is good with the music, but I wouldn't call him wondrous.
Actually, he is quite wondrous with the music. I mean, I can't normally hear it, but he's shown me several times what he can do, and it's amazing.
I appreciate it. That's for sure. Not everyone can play as well as he does.
Do you have any music that you've experienced when you were young?
Nah.
No.
Kind of
No
why
music.
that's kind of why I like it right now. It's kind of something new to me. It's not that new to me. It's I've been traveling for a decade or so by myself. But yeah, let's just say my mother wasn't a fan of the arts and crafts.
She was, or she was not. Okay.
Wasn't. Down
But
to
she
earth, strict.
kicked you out and said, "Go find your way." Kind of kicking a bird out of a nest, huh?
Kinda, yeah. She I like to tell jokes and say she kicked me out, but I could see in her eyes she was a little sad about it.
Were
Again,
you her only?
Yes.
So she only had you.
Yes.
Wow. It must be difficult.
From what I've been told and learned, that's kind of how it is with the Drakith. A lot of them just kind of find a mate for a little bit, and once they have the egg, it's kind of see you later. Not really a family bonding thing with the Drakith.
That's interesting. Sorry I'm asking you so many questions. I have a lot of missing pieces to my life that sometimes when I get to share others' memories, it rings some bells. I gotta admit though, you're not ringing any bells.
What can I say? One of a kind.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad you joined us.
I have enjoyed my time with all you as well. Each one of you are different in your own ways.
And your wine. Well, let's go hunt some rabbits.
With the mention of that, a glass of wine would just appear in the sand.
Yeah. I think
Why
drink wine too.
Why hunt when we're in the dream world?
Here, let me try one. And then I'll try a glass of wine in the dream. You're right. It's good.
Nithyan, when you sip the wine in your dream, there's a few flashes of memory that hit you. The flashes in your mind, you recall sitting on a terrace overlooking a city. You can see an ocean, a body of water with waves rolling in the distance below a cliffside. It's a beautiful sunny day. You hear the sounds of a town beneath you. And you just hear, off in the distance, behind you somewhere, a woman's voice call out in Elvish. Nithyan! Time to practice! And then the memory fades. Or not fades, but that's the snippet.
Can we envision that kind of apparates kind of around us a little bit? So Raoul sees that? Or
Yeah. Unless you're trying to contain it within yourself, yes. For a moment,
I won't try to contain it.
Then for a moment, both you and Raoul find yourselves sitting on this balcony terrace instead of this rocky hillscape. And you hear and see this around you. And Raoul, Nithyan doesn't look like Nithyan. She's different, elegant, thin, lithe, shorter, more pronounced jawline, angular but beautiful, fair skin. Not quite as the little bit of darkness she has now. The shorter ears. Incredible, stunning, golden hair. You hear the sound of some woman calling. You both set, or Nithyan, you set down your glass of wine, and then it fades, and you find yourselves back in the rocky hillscape.
What was that?
I assume you're in control of half of this. I didn't do that.
Oh, I don't know that place.
I've
Or
never
do
seen
I?
it in my life.
Felt familiar.
Yeah, that's interesting. Must have been by an ocean. Practice. I do love the dance, and I do love music. Huh. That voice sounds familiar. Sounded familiar too. Wow. Guess what? You clicked.
Eh,
Thank you.
not a problem. I don't even know really what happened.
Me neither. But it was your wine.
Ah. Best wind. We're in the dream world.
All right, let's go hunt some. Let's go hunt some rabbits. I'll help you chase them.
Sounds good.
And as you guys begin running off after rabbits, the dream fades. And you wake up the next morning.
That'll be clear for the dream for you, Tim. You saw me. I didn't see me. For differently. To me, I didn't see a difference.
Gotcha. It's the dream world. He doesn't understand it.
Okay.
He probably won't even he'll probably just assume that you saw yourself like that and just not even mention it.
Okay. You might be on mute, Navar.
No, I'm not. I just hadn't said anything for a second. So, you guys get back underway after that night of dreaming. And there are only a couple of more days before the maelstroms begin. You can already begin to feel the change in the air. It feels a little cooler. There's a lot more wind in these coming days. Sudden gusts that just sweep by. You can hear the flapping of the caravan's canvas on top against it. It reminds you every time a large gust comes by. The next couple of days go by, and one evening at camp, Navromri is sitting around the fire with Drix and whoever else happens to be there. And Navromri says, "You know, that's Drix. You know, this travel thing is all nice, but there are much better ways to travel. And with all of this wind, there are ways to travel around the weather even. There's something that we should look into at some point. At least you all."
Assign somebody have to translate the flying ship.
Yes, that is one such method. You know, I had a diarch before. There might
what?
be a diarch, D-Y-A-R-K. It is a dwarven construction. It has sun sails, how you say. They're magical ships, kind of like a boat. but in sky. And it uses the energy of the suns and light to go. Almost like traveling on wind, but with light.
A skyship, but how does it stay in the air? Like what the embassy keeps in the air, or?
It is similar, yes. Yes, it has a cluster of Astron at its center, its heart. That facilitates violet Astron, to be specific, the ones that are attuned to the air energies. And then it has a couple of other elemental mixes that allow the light to act as propulsion. It's quite beautiful.
Translate like the one you showed me. It was very, and the music was amazing.
I don't recall what you speak of.
Oh, it was in a dream.
I often dream of being aboard my ship again. But it might still be out there somewhere. We could go get it at some point.
That's not the one that crashed?
No. From what I understand, the before the doppelganger took me out of commission for a while, I was expecting a troop of dwarven soldiers to arrive via Diarch for some time. They were coming to they were going on mission to Balin. I believe it is what you all wound up doing instead. You kind of have taken their place in much of ways. But it never arrived, and then I was subdued. But I have my own ship. It is how I got here to Opportunity. Although I could not just simply fly it up to city. While it does have cloaking abilities, it is not a permanent thing, and it would be dangerous to let normals see it. It is in amid the Capula Sierras mountains. It is stationed up by the Heartless Lock.
What did you say?
It is stationed up by the Heartless Lock.
Yeah.
It does not seem to be on your current objective path, but in future, if we wish to go obtain it and the embassy sees so fit with your accomplishments, perhaps I might be able to captain it for you. But we would have to recover it first. It has been there for a number of years. But it is a tough ship.
Say that again? Oh, go ahead.
Me or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Maybe we could head there after we go to Aircrossed. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's not too far from there.
That's a good idea if it is.
We even should be able to pull this points back behind him. The carriage, it should even fit in the cargo bay.
So it's big.
It is a mighty beautiful ship. is a work of my own creation. I designed it before I left Itopus to adventure. My family, they worked in the shipyards, and I had a little bit of privilege in being able to design my own. And family money helps. They wanted to see the best for me, and gave it to me as a adventuring send-off present. Keep me safe. Of course, I do not have my crew anymore. It is mostly capable of being flown by one person, but more people help.
Well, Nithirn seemed to pick up sailing on the seas pretty quick. I mean, I'm sure she could learn how to fly one.
You all have been on water boats.
Yes. For a little while.
Sounds like fun.
Took me a few days to get over the seasickness.
I have heard of the seasickness. There is no such sickness in airship. It does not rock like a water boat does.
Well, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, if something goes wrong, I've always got my vest.
It is something I remembered a few days ago. I thought that might be of interest to you all. From what Reginald has caught me up to speed on, I am very appreciative of what you have accomplished, even if it was done under false pretense. If you have any questions for me, I would be more than happy to answer what I can with truth, unlike my former visage.
Well, this is where Reggie would probably really come in real handy. He had a lot of questions, but through translator, the issues between the Vith and the dwarves. What's the truth behind that?
It is complicated. It is well, Reginald has informed me of what you all know. What the imposter told you. It is for the most part not incorrect. However, we were not slaves per se. From what I understand of our history, it was more like work partners, but work partners that did not end well. They had their own reasons for what to do with what we built, and we had our own opinions. It severed the relationship.
Yeah, the imposter made it seem pretty black and white.
It was long ago. The dwarves and Vith, there is not deep hostility per se, but more a lack of desire to work together.
Did the dwarves build these anchors, or what's in the bailey?
Well, from what I understand, what is in Balin is not anchor, but that is the Dwarven make, yes. Although at the design of the Vith. So it was architecturally their style, but our hands and our knowledge to put together. The anchor is the dwarves a little bit helped, although much was from the Vith. And the people that they worked with, they had some other contacts that helped them build. They somehow understood how to. There was a type of Asteron that they figured out how to build with. That was not nothing to do with dwarves. That is around the same time our relationship split. But the towers and opportunity, what you would describe a Balin, that is a Dwarven make. Than many other ancient sites like that. It was our specialty to create structures that, when hooked up to proper Asteron crystals or clusters or shards, could produce magical-like effects and transfer power and energy.
It seems that did this creature that sent us on this mission send us on the same mission you would have?
Well,
What's the purpose? What would your purpose be?
the reason that the Dwarven diarch was coming with soldiers was, what do you see? I was first stationed here in Opportunity. I was, while I was adventuring with my diarch, I had been scouting the area, and I came upon Opportunity, saw Dwarven craftsmanship, traces of our ancestors. And when I contacted Ditopus to let them know I was not with their society, the circles quite yet, but they wanted to hire me as I was already here, and they told me that if I would man a embassy, they would send one to me, which is Uveth Islet, the one above Opportunity. So they sent it, I manned it, and from there, in addition to getting the embassy going and providing the functions that does for Opportunity, it gave me time and a base of operations to more deeply understand Opportunity itself. But the center of town was hard to reach at that time. It was not always closed off, or it was not always open like it is now. And in some of my exploits around the area, I found Balin and recognized the obelisks there also as Dwarven construction. When I told the higher circles of such a find, they were going to send the Dwarven soldiers to come and secure the area. I did not know why at the time, but apparently it was a how they say it, outpost for viewing local area. survey outpost. And so I was to be awaiting the dwarves, but they never came, and then I was subdued. My guess would be when the doppelganger took over, he found my notes. He found my my missions, as I keep things recorded for paperwork reasons. And he likely wanted to take opportunity to gain information for whatever or whoever that it worked with. So when you all showed up with the dwarven soldiers, it likely saw that as opportunity to get people not connected with dwarves to do it instead. In perhaps hopes that you would bring back information, he would pass it along to its superiors or whatever is it is involved with. It likely is the same reason why it sent you to anchors. It was probably harvesting you for information. And since you were not directly connected with dwarves because it was imposing as them, it was just getting free information at your own cost and none of its own.
Fizz, you've spoke with Lenenia. Do you think that's why she went to Balin?
I mean, she was just assigned there from higher ups. Like, don't really know.
The Vith have sent people to Balin.
Yeah.
That is going to make things complicated, I believe.
And it seems they've sent military to where we're going.
That I do not believe is Vith military.
The Vith came back from there damaged.
I do not know.
Bro, you know a lot about Astron. How does this fit into your knowledge? Seems like everybody's using us. I think you're muted.
I mean, we did.
Well, unlike you guys, I kind of offered myself to be used for this.
To the Vith.
Yet, I gave them. It was an exchange of knowledge. I told them the things I know. They allowed me to use their research, their library, learn a little bit more. And in our conversations, I might have brought up a source of power that I think is somewhere in Durant? What's this country called again?
Oh,
The
Duhana.
country. Duhana. I mentioned something about a place of power somewhere in Duhana that my father was trying to find. And they might have said something about Arrow Crossed, and it seemed like a place to look at.
I mean, we did tell Leania about what happened in Balin, so I mean, you can't. The Vith didn't really use us there. They're just acting on the new information that they have to send people out there. To what purpose? I can tell you. I don't think Leania could tell you either. The Vith seem to be fairly compartmentalized as far as I could tell.
If I were to guess, it would likely be to secure the site and get it operational. From what I have understood, Balin was one of such power nodes. It, how you say, it facilitated in the transfer of energy of the Asteron type from Opportunity. Well, Opportunity being the central power, how to say, power station, power hub. If the city is correctly powered, which it does not seem like the Vith have understood or recovered yet, there would be very large magical effects that they could attain. But it seems that they have been powering Balin, and if Balin is powered as well, then they will be able to send information at much quicker speeds over large distances. And from what you have told me of Balin, it is a place of surveillance as well on the local anchors. As such, they would be able to keep monitoring on anchors.
I don't know why you guys are doing all this, but for me, it's kind of agreement I have with the Fifth. I check this out for them. If it's what I'm looking for, they allow me to do what I need to do, and then I just let them do what they want to do.
It sounds as if the Vith are trying to re-establish their hold of power in the area, which will bring with it, well, to be honest, uncontested power. As I am the only dwarf in this area.
Would the dwarves do the same thing?
We would wish to maintain these sites and perhaps use the power that the sites provide. It would be my guess. I am not part of the higher circles who make such decisions. But general mission statement is to bring communication and stability to the realm as a whole. In the last wars, hundreds of years ago, much of civilization has fractured, and the way people communicate is very diminished. Even the currency systems were almost all but shattered. There was no stable economy. We wish to give back to the people in the hopes that our kind can find a way to reintegrate with the people of the realm, as Ditopus has been, well, it has been segregated ever since the events that led our people to leave this place. For example, the country of Criaro, the desert to the southwest, or what they are today. There used to be vast and lush jungles. The entire mountain range, the jagged peaks, did not exist hundreds of years ago. It was when the anchors in that area destabilized. When the Vith and the Dwarves stopped working together, that no one was maintaining. We were forced to leave our newfound homeland and seek stability within our peace, within our people first. For if we were to perish, the knowledge of how all of this works would die with us, and without it, catastrophe would sweep the lands.
So hold on a sec. Do you know what we need to do at all these anchors to repair them or whatever, maintain them?
Me personally, no. I am not skilled in such a thing, but the dwarves of the higher circle, the ones who specifically work with the Astron, they understand the inner workings. We helped construct much of the power sources and systems based on Astron. The Vith just used our technology. So they know how to use it, but they don't necessarily know how to create it of their own accord. They might be able to maintain, but for what ends? We can create. We can shape. Improve. Every anchor is different. We do not know what has happened in time since we had them, or we never built the anchors themselves. The Vith did that. But if it is Astron, we should be able to do something. But our reach is very limited. Some of the coastal cities to the north, we have more sway in, but in the middle of the realm in Duhana, I am one of very few. We were on the beginning stages of reclaiming our network. And I only know enough that I have been told to be able to do. I do not understand many of the inner workings.
How long? Because you said you were expecting a party of dwarves, and then they didn't show up, and you were, the imposter, put you outside on that island. How long were you waiting for these people? Was it like months, or how quickly is your people able to redistribute people to different posts and what have you?
Because they had Diarch, it was much faster. They were part of the higher circles themselves, but Ditopus is a long way away. It still, I believe the journey was estimated to take them 3 months via Diarch. We were 1 month away or so when I was subdued. And then it has been a few months since.
Interesting. I don't know. Maybe RJ has a point. I mean, it sounds like you guys want to, keep the realm stable. Sure, the Vith have different methods, maybe, but feel like their end goal is somewhat similar.
We wish to bring stability so that we may bring our homeland back to where it belongs.
And where does it belong?
So say again?
Well, where does your homeland belong?
With the rest of the realm.
Like, you're not going to plop it down on Duhan, are you?
Not necessarily Duhana, no. But
Preferably
somewhere.
not Duhana.
But somewhere, a suitable place. But there is no point in doing that if the land is going to be ravaged by instability. Only to be destroyed. We are safe where we are now, although that comes at different costs and different problems.
Well, Duhana's pretty nice. The country to the north of us, though, they're assholes. You could drop your homeland on them if you want.
It is not the size of a entire country.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
We have
Yeah, I'd be worried.
multiple islands.
Ah,
And I believe the biggest of which, the capital of Ditopus, it is a few hundred miles in diameter.
It's still big. Does it float?
Yes, it is in the sky. It is not safe to land it in the oceans.
yeah. Well, like I said, you could always land it on. I can't seem to recall the capital of that country to the north, but there are a bunch of. They like enslaving people,
Piran?
especially elves. Not very nice people, in my opinion.
From what I
Live and
understand
let live,
of,
I say.
from what I understand of Talon Ure, they are still recovering from a jaded history. Past rulers.
Well, it seems we're on a pretty important mission. But I'll
Yep.
be honest, I don't know who to trust or believe.
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem is that it feels so. Not that this is anything against you. Navire?
Nevromri.
Nevromri. I'm bad with names. Nevromri. But, I mean, Leania didn't really know anything about the decisions that were made farther up her chain of people, so feels like that's maybe it's a little similar in with these dwarves. So maybe not until we get a chance to meet with somebody higher up, like the seer that you spoke with, Nithir. Maybe we
I
can't
don't
really
know that
decide.
I don't know that I trust him either. He always is holding something back. I could tell.
Well, the anchors are pretty important, and I mean, Leanna seemed to think that her elders or whatever would know what to do with them to maintain them. But if the dwarves think that's not true, then I don't know. Yeah, we need somebody to figure this out so that they can be maintained. Certainly, I mean, apparently we didn't do a good job with them, so I don't think humans are an option right now.
Seems everybody agrees on that.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for my people, but you all have saved my life. And I have nothing but honesty towards you. I have no reason to hold things back, as you already know more or as much as I do.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
not more.
I think Leania was pretty upfront with us. I mean, she didn't always go about it the right way, and I think that's just kind of, she talked to me a little bit about how, she went to training quite young, So
It is hard to understand the politics from a distance. I too do not understand the politics of my people or the Vith.
yeah.
I just know what I am meant to do and what I desire to do.
Yeah.
Which, for now, is to help you all. I believe what you are doing is important, and whether it makes difference or not, well, that is what we hope for, to make difference. At least for me. If it is higher up in my circles that you wish to communicate with, I can pass along the request to my higher ups in the future when given the opportunity. And we could always arrange something more.
Thinking
But
not
that,
yet.
yeah, but that depends on what degree you all wish to get involved in. I would vouch for you, though.
I'm kind of here for just one thing, so.
A man of business.
I don't think that we. I don't know if the. Can't remember if we told the Vith or not, but I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Raul. But there's, we've already been to one of these anchors, and there's at least one more. So
They mentioned it to me. They kind of gave me a breakdown on what you guys were doing.
yeah.
Which of the other anchor? It was the one connected to water?
Yeah.
In
When we were on the boat.
the one we travel to now, do you understand which connection it has?
Nope. It's in the mountains.
If my research notes are correct, Earth.
I see. There are...
Well,
Go ahead.
Didn't we see lava too? I can't remember if we saw lava. We just saw Earth mountains.
We
and
saw
mining.
a mountain range, and then and there was a little village.
Right.
There was a mining village called Aircross, which is just down
the bottom
there,
picture on the dashboard.
Yeah. That's what we saw?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Fizz, the one above that, you would recognize as Holden Keep.
And,
Wait,
The one above
so
that?
the bottom one.
Hmm?
The bottom one is the one that we saw that was in the woods?
No, this is the vestige of the mountain one that you saw.
Okay.
So to describe these pictures for you, as they all relate to things you either each know of, have seen, or have already been to. The bottom one is Aracrost, or at least the vision you saw in Balin. The one above that is something Fizz only really understands, as that is Holden Keep and the surrounding areas. The one above that is the portal that you all took into the water anchor. The one above that, the town with the big towers, that is Opportunity. And then the one at the top is just a fun little image for when you all came across and found the Sword of the Found, with the skeleton hunched over on the edge of the cliff.
Which is in a metal box right now.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. So
but,
we're heading towards the one on the bottom then. Well, we're heading towards your town right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're heading towards the Holden Keep.
Okay. Got it.
Nevromi speaks up. If you have been to the one of water and we are headed to the one of earth, there is a, from what I understand, a bit of a structure to the anchors. at least in the makeup. There are the 4 primal elemental anchors: water, earth, fire, air, across the realm. And then there are as well a number of para and quasi anchors as well. Ones representing connections to planes or places of energy of different types, all of which together make up the collection of physical manifestation.
Well, sounds like we're gonna have our work cut out for us if we're planning on trying to track down all of these anchors, but seems like we found at least.
Go ahead.
It seems like we found at least 2 of the major ones. Do you think the Harpies was the air one?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
And an airship might come in real handy.
The Diarach always comes in handy. It is not an offensive vessel, but for exploration and speed, it is one of a kind.
Okay, I don't have anything else I want to talk about.
Well,
You guys, before we go any further, you guys can note that Raul was quiet during this whole thing on purpose. He was keeping himself out of the conversation.
Okay. I don't. Where did you, Nithir? Where did you guys pick up that spinny thingy that opened up the door in Balin?
Got it from the embassy, from the what we call him, betrayer, the betrayer.
Imposter?
Yeah, the imposter.
Betrayer. The rumor is like, I mean, I guess it's some sort of compass, but I mean, we used it to locate the anchor. Is that what that's kind of intended for, or? RJ, show what I'm talking about.
This was mine. Yes. It that is one of its functions. Yes. It helps locate nearby Astron. Let me see. It looks like it is set on its lowest setting. It is in a way compass. Because Ditopus and its islands that surround it are all in the sky, a directional compass does not work when flying a Diarch. The direction of northwest, south, it does not matter. The islands move, but these compass would help us locate the next nearby island and chart our course. As the islands themselves are maintained in flight by massive quantities of Astron. There is ways to slightly differentiate what you look for and how far you look for it. Kind of a way of dialing and setting it. It takes a little bit of work to change it, but I understand. I mean, it is mine. I am familiar with its functions, and I can change it up when need be.
Well, that's good to know. That'll be maybe helpful trying to find these other anchors, maybe, because it seemed to point to the one in the water.
That is likely because the entrance is surrounded by large quantities of astron.
We'll have to see if this next place, if it's the same then.
It is possible. I must say, other than the anchor's existences and knowing vaguely the types of them that exist, we do not know much else about them. As I say, the Vith worked with an unknown faction to construct the anchors themselves. But we helped with the construction and containment of the on the side of this realm. It is what is through the portals that we do not understand. That was done after us. We simply made, for example, like boxes around them. Although, from what you say of the water one, the structure that would have been built around that one is long gone.
Yeah. Just kind of just sitting on a sandbar.
That probably was not the case in history.
Maybe we should have took a closer look at that sandbar. Well, it's getting quite late. Should probably get to bed.
It was nice to speak with you all on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Very informative conversation.
I cannot act as much of a guide for you here, but if we recover the Diarch, I would be more than happy to be your captain. And aid toward a good cause. As it has been far too long since I have explored, and I long to ride the currents of the winds again. The embassy, not my style. I would likely be asking for a personal demotion to be demoted to rank 0 so that I may be captain again. And if all goes well at Aracrost, perhaps I can manage it where they will officially let me be your captain. As when I truly give my report, I can let them know of the wonderful deeds you have done for our people and for people in general. Will go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for now, I am to go to bed. I am tired.
Me as well.
And there's everybody. Lays down to rest for the night. Let's go ahead and take a short little break. Bathroom break, drink break, all that jazz.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. So, scroll down to the calendar. All right. The next day or so, the next couple of days are also fairly uneventful. You've been on the road a little over a week and a half now. But this is the 33rd day of Meliel as it's coming to a close. And Drix again mentions at the camp that starting tomorrow, we should expect some pretty potential bad weather, or at least strange weather as well. We'll play it by ear if we have to, kind of pull over. But just be alert.
Ready.
So I would like to keep, collecting dead wood, keeping an eye out, and I'll give you a type of wood. Black walnut. I'm sure that's rare for this area.
All right, roll a perception check. Something that you've been keeping an eye out for, and I'll give you a bonus because it's over the course of the week. Not so far.
Remember, I was helping.
10.
You were helping?
I told him I was helping, so
Yeah.
that means it's a help. It's not I'm not doing it in place of.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I mean, you guys keep an eye out for black walnut. You do find a nice cedar tree. That's a pretty hard wood. But the hunt for black walnut continues.
I'm gonna say, I don't know if cedar's that. I'm gonna keep looking for some black walnut.
Alrighty. Okay.
So I'm doing good with the squirrel.
Hey, and now what are you trying to teach it again?
Mostly to behave and listen, and just for up to the I forgot where I got to, but so it will do what I ask it to do.
Yeah, it's coming around. It's responding more consistently to you in general, and it's going well.
Good. It was
so
good roll so far.
Gives Fizz the side eye every once in a while.
I heard tales of this moose that was best friends with a squirrel. Maybe we need a moose.
Don't know if I've ever seen a moose. Never been to the backwoods.
And so the travel through the maelstrom begins. On the first day, it's just lightly raining throughout the day, but it is consistent. And the wind isn't too bad. On the second day, however, the winds carry with it a cold wind, unnatural to this point of the year. It is nearly to the point of freezing at some points. Strange winter weather out of nowhere. And the wind is severe. It is blustering past. And what makes it even stranger is that there are these rolling dark gray clouds that are striking with electricity and lightning frequently. And there's almost this feeling in the air for those that are attuned to arcane energy. The rain and wind make seeing the surrounding area pretty difficult. The canvas over top of the carriage has to be taken off to avoid it ripping and tearing as the morning begins. Any sort of torches or unprotected flames that are attempted to be used throughout the day are just blasted out by the wind. And near midday, there is a massive lightning storm that hits up. Almost every single minute, there is a lightning strike hitting in the area that you can hear and see. Its results from. The interior of the caravan is more or less safe, but for Drix and anybody else not inside the caravan while travel, who would that be?
Well, I mean, normally I would be out there, but I'm really bad. I would try and squeeze inside with everybody else, but Drix, maybe.
Does he need it? Do I think he needs help?
It is bitingly cold.
The cold won't bother me. But does he need help?
Maybe we should find some caves or something.
If it's just cold, I'm out there helping him.
There is also all that lightning.
Yeah, I know.
Raoul looks out the window as he sees the lightning and thinks, that could make the Astron crystal yellow.
He's gonna go on the roof and hold it up in the air.
No, but
Tie it to a kite. And what?
he notes it as an idea for later down the line. Too cold for him. He doesn't like the cold.
I mean, there might be a spear somewhere lying around.
If the cold is not less than -50, I'm fine.
Yep.
For the cold.
Right. There's not really much you can do to help Drix, per se, aside from because he's just driving mostly.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to make sure he's able to steer the horses. Because he don't freeze up.
I mean, you can tell he's definitely cold. He doesn't really. He has some more padded clothing, but he's not suited for winter or winter-like weather.
Iwing's fur. Kept in his backpack.
Pretty beefy.
Okay. So,
Something tell.
huh?
I was just was gonna say something tells me my many garments. They just make my clothes look different. They don't actually make them different.
Yeah, no. it's all visual.
Warmer.
No.
I can make it look warmer.
Yep. So throughout the day, Drix does manage to hang in there with driving the cart. As the day does continue to wane on, you can tell he's progressively getting more tired and battered by the cold. His cheeks are red, his nose is red. And you can tell he's going to be really tired at the end of the day, but he makes it through.
Okay.
Fizz, are you casting any magic throughout the day?
Nope.
Or activating any magical effects or items?
Nope.
Okay. And lastly, I need everybody to roll a D100.
D100.
This is for Drix. This is for Navromri. This is for Willie. This is for Wizrun. Dog 1, Dog 2, Dog 3, Dog 4, Horse 1, Horse 2, Horse 3, Horse 4, and Squirrel.
Do you want me to roll for Bolt as well?
Yes.
Because I have a horse. Yeah.
Yep. Each person or creature, and RJ. Okay. So there are times where you can hear the cracking and feel the electricity in the air, as there are a few times where lightning strikes close as you are moving. But it doesn't really hit anyone or the carriage itself.
Must be a low roll then, because somebody rolled a 99.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you guys weather... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think we established that like low is bad, high is good.
Yeah.
The way the way I usually run percentages personally is if it says a 25% chance, it's easiest just to assume that means 1 through 25. It's a 50% chance, 1 through 50. Like, just take the number that is the percentage, and if you roll in that range or up to that whatever that is happening happens.
Sounds good.
It feels illogical to flip it and say, well, there's a 10% chance, so instead of doing 1 through 10, like, we're gonna do 90 through 100 for some reason. Because it's all percentages, so it's the same either way. But anyway, so over the course of the day, you all seem to weather the strange storm and survive. Now, the following day, this next day even, this storm is gone. There is no trace of it. The weather is back up to high 50s in terms of Fahrenheit. The wind is light, and it is a total 180. However, for anyone who...
So,
go ahead.
I'm just going to say in the morning, Drix, maybe with the weather being so crazy, maybe you should use that mirror that you have, or that we have, that like shows what the weather is going to be like.
That's a good idea. We kind of get a head start if we know there's going to be some sort of crazy wind or something.
Yeah.
I like the way you think, Fizz.
Because I feel like we maybe should have taken shelter yesterday. Some of that lightning was pretty close.
I mean, we made it just fine.
Just think about if lightning did struck near it close enough. You could throw the crystal at it.
I'm sure you would have been fine, but I think I would have been pretty cooked on the inside.
Oh, it probably would have killed me as well. But just think about it. Interesting.
For funsies.
You guys are starting to learn that he's less of like a book researcher and more just a see what happens if I do this type of researcher.
Trial and error.
That would have been a lightning strike.
Experimental. Dear God.
Oh. Let me look at my health and everything.
Anyway,
I think, I'm pretty sure I will survive that.
When they struck close, that's kind of the gauge you get of how powerful they felt and looked. As they blasted parts of the land off.
Would be next time, Drix. If lightning, if there's lots of lightning, we're taking immediately.
All right, I'll consult the mirror the night before, and we'll make our decisions then, or perhaps midday. That way, we have some time to stop at a suitable location should we find one. And so, on the third day of the Maelstrom, like I said, it's fairly clear, normal weather for fall. However, for anybody who looks up in the sky during the day, and Raul, this might be of interest to you as well, the clouds themselves take on interesting shapes. They seem to be shaped like dragons and winged worms that twist through the sky, sometimes colliding and tearing through each other and dissipating back into clouds. And you'll see a sight like that maybe once every couple hours throughout the day.
Raul will draw a picture of one of the clouds as they go.
Okay.
He'll be up on top of the caravan. That's kind of where he's decided that his resting spot is now.
Excellent.
When he's not going for his daily run.
With a clear check from the mirror, Drix determines that it's safe to continue traveling the next day, and it's just a very windy day on that fourth day of travel through the Maelstrom. Let's see. So it's just a vision.
That exact lightning strike will have only taken me down to grazed.
Nice.
Okay, beefy boy.
Literally, it would have killed me.
So that night, Drix says, so I looked at the mirror and I didn't see no lightning or nothing. I mean, it looks like it's going to be cloudy and stuff, but the wind seemed to be quite a whipping. We might be fine, but figured I'd pass it all by y'all first.
What do you think, Nithirn?
I don't have a lot of experience with this. We always stayed inside during the Maelstrom.
Yeah.
Both times.
We tended to hunker down as well, so... I mean, how bad could the wind get, right? Raul?
Can't been that bad. See,
Yeah.
I used to live in this area. Of course, we were right next to the mountain, so we never really left during the maelstrom. So
Let's
pretty sure I could have taken that lightning strike though. Test it.
Just, you go right ahead. The burning smell I was smelling, there's no way. I think it would have been pretty smoky. Yeah, Trix, I think we're gonna be okay. How bad could the wind get? Have you traveled much out in the maelstrom?
Oh no, I hunker down during these times.
Yeah. Let's just let's give it a shot.
All right. So the next day comes, and as you're traveling, the wind begins to pick up, and with it a chill that is colder than cold. Nithirn, you're still fine, but everyone else, even in the carriage, I'll need everybody to roll a fort save.
Excellent.
And instead of having to roll a whole crap ton of them, I'm just gonna do an averaging.
8.
Ooh.
I'm chilly boy.
Oof. That was a good roll for me.
What's your fort save? +8? Wow.
That's his best thing.
He's a tough boy.
Beefy boy. Beefcake boy.
Our tank did okay. Reggie.
Trix did okay. Nathan, did you roll?
I don't need.
Or Mark?
I don't need to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, because you're special. Or something you're wearing is special.
No, something I do every day.
Yeah. Oh.
His room's like, fuck, this is cold.
Witheroob's taking his shirt off.
My heart is colder than this wind.
Do this for each.
Poor Witherfang. I don't
I
know.
just did it one for each dog instead of having to go through each of them.
Okay.
And then horses, and do a D20 plus 6 for bolt.
Where's my cursor? There's my cursor.
Okay, so going through Fizz, Raoul, Reginald, Drix, Nevromri, Willie, two of the dogs, the squirrel, and 3 of the horses all take 12 non-lethal damage over the course of the day. Don't worry about that, as it turned out to not be enough to actually like wipe somebody out for the day. So no need to like go adjust that, because by the time you guys rest, it's all going to be gone anyway. It was mostly to see if it got bad enough that anybody was forced into stopping, which is not the case. And then
don't like the cold.
But that does go to a testament that it is so freaking cold. Everybody is having a tough time dealing with it almost.
I'm gonna adjust my sleeves of many garments to make it look like I'm wearing warmer clothes.
You look warmer.
You have a little bit of a placebo effect of thinking I'm warmer, but not actually.
Convince yourself.
To give a sense for your imaginations, the highest it ever gets during this is -9. Or sorry,
That's
17
cool.
degrees Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit or Celsius?
17
Okay.
degrees Fahrenheit. The lowest it gets is 1 degree Fahrenheit, which is -9C to -18C
Yeah.
for people who talk in C's.
Us metric people.
Now, additionally, we'll see how much progress the horses make today as the winds are horridly fast. Again, to give a comparison, 58 miles an hour, that is 93 kilometers per hour winds. So, the horses...
Heavy winds.
Okay. You guys get about 100 feet from the campsite before Drix quickly realizes that throughout the day-to-day, these horses are not going to make it against this wind. And Drix almost immediately has to say, guys, I don't think this is going to work.
Let's just hunker down for the day. Maybe tomorrow will be better.
This wind's pulling too hard on the cart. They can't move. See, they're all stumbling and they are trying to dig, but it is brutal. A couple of them, after trying for a minute, they just lay down to get more stability and out of the wind a bit. It doesn't seem to be terribly affecting them in terms of the cold. Now, there's one other issue throughout the day that that comes across. Vinithian, you don't experience this, but everyone else is going to. As throughout the day, these winds seem to carry with it words. These whispery... And you hear what sounds like whispers on the winds. Every now and then you catch words and phrases. Come with me. Come with us. We will rise.
Nathan's just sitting there like,
Oh, no.
Now, as for someone that's lived in this general area, a little bit more north, is any of this weather normal?
Not at all.
This isn't a normal minstrum then?
As far as maelstroms are concerned, it's hard to say. Each one is different to varying degrees.
All right.
You've never encountered this particularly before.
No,
But then again, you've seen a maelstrom where it rained toads for 8 hours.
I'm gonna do.
We ate well that night.
Yep.
Ooh. Does these words in the wind, are they magically enticing me to leave?
They magically delicious.
No, but considering the oddity of this event, the thought does cross your mind, Fizz, what if I tried to communicate with them? That could be a possibility.
I don't like this. I'm going to paranoidly use my bardic performance to perform counter song during the day.
At one point, Raoul will just snuggle up to one of the dogs for warmth.
Okay.
Counter song counters magic effects that depend on sound, but not supposed to have verbal components. So we can replace the perform check for a save if there's any sort of save.
It does not stop the whispers from reaching your ears.
Well, I'm gonna keep playing. Don't take me into the night.
So, you guys deal with that slew of effects throughout the day.
Okay,
And it's sometime in the...
I think we learned how bad the wind got.
How did his check for the weather next day thing go? You should at midday.
When you guys ask, Drick says, it just looks a little windy. Not like this, though. Also, who the hell keeps whispering in my ears? Who are you? What do you want?
I just don't talk to them, Drix. Whatever they are.
Why?
You need to keep them out of your mind.
They don't sound in my mind. They sound in my goddamn ears all day.
Just don't water off.
I ain't going
No matter
nowhere.
what they say.
I ain't going nowhere. What's wrong? So after finding ways of handling the ghost storm, it eventually peters off in the evening, lasting about 6 hours total through the day. The following day is just some light winds, nothing too bad. And then on the next day, Drick says, or before the next day, Drick says, well, tomorrow I see some thunderstorms. They don't look nearly as bad as the one before, though. Looked like a normal kind of thunderstorm. But I'll leave it to y'all. Wind looked a little bad.
What do you guys think we should do?
It's just a normal lightning storm. We should be just fine.
I mean, we did misjudge that.
We'll be fine. We're inside. What's the worst that could happen?
I suppose.
You know, if you lay on the ground, the lower to the ground you are, the less likely you are to get hit by lightning.
Is that true, Ithier? Do you know that to be true?
I would just try to dodge it out of the way. trying to make sure it missed me.
I don't think I'm that fast, Darren. The lightning last time looked pretty fast. Okay. Well,
I could teach
You would have
you.
survived.
I think maybe there's space underneath that cot over there. In the
There you go.
wagon.
I
How many
I
more
can
days
kinda
of the maelstrom is there? Like weeks?
We're about halfway through it.
Oh boy. Well, let's give it a shot. Oh,
All right.
Perhaps keep a lookout for a safe spot, just in case.
Stick low to the ground.
Good idea, Nithyan. After it's translated.
yeah.
Yep. I mean, sure. All right. Following day comes, the thunderstorm arrives. You get a couple of hours of travel before it approaches. However, once it hits, the winds that come with it stop the horses dead in their tracks again. And then everybody needs to make a D100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just roll 10D100 for everybody. Oh boy.
Somebody got hit. You're gonna have to think about that.
I have an order that I went on.
Okay.
Am I rolling for bolt or did you run?
No, you roll for Bolt. I didn't include him in that.
Oh,
Oof.
bolt.
No, it's a different kind of thunderstorm as the one the other day. So there's that.
Name is now qualified.
So as you'll see, there is no avoiding this if it hits you. Reginald is at his alchemy kit station at one point. He's got the windows shut. But a bolt of lightning strikes something metallic on the outside of the carriage that he happens to be touching something connected through it, and he suffers 7 points of damage.
Oof.
Which isn't enough to wipe out any of his vigor.
No, could have been worse.
Drix, Nefromery, Willie, Wizard. Oh, one of the puppies takes 5. As he's laying on a metal beam that goes across the bottom of the carriage, and lightning strikes near enough where an arc of electricity bounces off the ground and into the metal, and it yips and squeals with pain.
That's the one I named.
Fair enough. Thunder it is. And then outside, you hear a loud whinny at one point as Bolt gets zapped directly with a bolt of electricity for 5, which isn't enough to even wipe out anybody's wound or vigor, so we're good there.
So you named them. You named them Thunder and Bolt, and they both got hit.
I didn't even think about that.
At one point, Raul will like open the top hatch and think about getting hit by lightning. But slightly said that it doesn't hit him.
Do you do anything to increase your odds?
No.
Okay.
He opens the top hatch and like looks out and has the clear Astron crystal in his hand. But then he's like, you know what? Probably not a good idea.
Okay.
RJ might be sad if I change this one.
So you don't really make much progress that day whatsoever. And Drix says, well, tomorrow, all seems a bit normal, but, technically, one sec. This page. Drix buttons. But, the sky looks all weird and whatnot.
Maybe.
What way?
I don't know. It just kind of looks weird. Like wrong.
Interesting.
We haven't been making a lot of progress. Maybe we should just hunker down.
He says clear. It's just weird sky. It'll be like a painting in the sky.
Yeah, Aaron. What do you want to do?
But I mean, there's a lot of people who could get hurt here. I understand. Reggie's probably screaming at the top of his lungs to hunker down. That makes sense. But do we have a safe spot?
I mean, we could try and find something nearby tomorrow.
Let's do that.
All right. So, after about a week or so of being entirely battered by the maelstrom day after day, eventually you all decide to go and seek shelter. Now, this following day, Drix had mentioned a weird sky, and you're not quite sure when it starts, but does anybody look at it?
Raoul, hearing about this weird sky, is of course intrigued as a researcher.
All right. So
nah.
You get moving, and at some point you're curious, Raoul, and you poke your head out of a window and look up. Go ahead and roll a will save.
He's fun. This is where I'm not good.
I'm safely tucked underneath the cot, I think, at this point.
Raoul, you see a sky that looks twisted and wrong. You see these unearthly shades of light that pass through, like a painting of wax dripping and twisting in its colors. You see these impossible shapes that are manifesting throughout it. Do you continue to watch the sky?
I watch the sky. Guys,
Roll
look at this. Do I need to? Okay, let me.
You didn't come through clear, Navarre. Say that again. Did you say, do you continue or do you need to?
Do you continue?
There you go. So, Raul, do you continue to look at the sky? Raul died.
I'm thinking, does he or doesn't he? Is he that interested in the sky? No. After he gets his first look, he's like, guys, it's kind of cool out there. He'll just shut the window. You guys should so look.
Willie goes, oh, I want to see.
Sorry, Willie.
What happens to Willie?
Okay, so Willie looks out of the window and puts his hands to his head and kind of just stands up and just turns. You see a look of fear in his face, and he runs for the door of the moving cart and begins to open it.
Raoul, stop him.
I attempt to stop him.
I'll stick a foot out from underneath the cot branch.
If it looks like he's gonna get out, I'll hit him hard.
Roll a CMB, Raoul. Nithyan, roll an attack. Fizz, roll a CMB to trip. Everybody just springs to action. He slips out of your grasp, Raoul. Fizz. Yeah, Fizz, you trip him. He falls flat on his face. Nithyan, you sock him in the fucking chest. He gasps for breath.
Intimidate too, so.
Okay. And then on the ground, he looks at you, Fizz, face on the ground, sees you underneath the cot, pulls a dagger, and tries to stab at your foot.
What? Jesus Christ! What's his attack?
11
That
versus AC. You quickly dodge your foot out of the way. Does anybody do anything?
I try to grab him again.
Okay, roll his PFP.
Well, I'll hit him again. Stunning strike.
Okay. You grapple him. You sock him again. He's nearly unconscious.
Stunning strike
assuming,
too. So.
I'm assuming these are non-lethal. Yeah.
Yeah, non-lethal.
I'm going to
He's stunned.
Yeah, he's stunned big time.
I am do fascinate. So he needs to make a will save. So he's
Just
he needs
standing
to
there babbling.
quietly and observe my performance for as long as the bard continues to maintain it while fascinated. The target takes a -4 penalty check on skill checks made as reactions, such as perception checks. Any potential threat to the target allows the target to make a new saving throw against the effect. Any obvious threat, such as someone drawing a weapon, casting a spell, or aiming a weapon at the target, obviously breaks the effect. So I will have timed that for after Nithyan has hit him in the chest.
Well,
again.
Raoul's also currently trying to grapple him, which you know will immediately break it.
Damn it. Oh, well.
So do you just hold it for now, readying it?
No. So,
if you do cast it, there is a moment. I'll say there is a moment where he goes lax, Raoul, and if you wish, you can maintain or the grapple or not.
Oh. Yeah, if he's starting to get relaxed, then I'd let go.
Okay. So he just sits
I'm just
there.
trying to make it, I assume that like that second hit kind of just knocks him out.
He's just kind of sitting there on his knees. Watching Fizz. Fizz, how long does that effect last?
As long as I maintain the performance, which is, I believe it's free. Like, it would cost me a performed start, but it's just like a swift action to maintain, I think, right?
Then the next question is, how long do you keep this up?
It's a free action. Rest of the fucking day. Dude,
right.
trying to stab me, man.
So you just start singing lullabies to Willie throughout the day, or like the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. No, and I'll take a little break after a minute, a quick pause, and say, "Nobody look out of the goddamn windows.
Okay, so you take a break momentarily, which gives him 1 round before you start again.
Yeah.
And he just sits there and
Yes, Mr. Bryant.
If he would have moved.
Now, while this is all happening,
Oh, Drix. Oh my god.
he's forced to look ahead, which includes the sky.
Oh,
Oh no.
no.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Well, it might not be a while till you realize it. Wait, what am I doing wrong? Roll 1D.
You're rolling a D0.
Yeah, I see what's happening. Okay. So Raoul mentioned the sky and everything like shortly after it began. And so you guys are beginning to deal with Willie, and just as Fizz gets him subdued and in this state of fascination, everybody roll perception checks.
If it's sound-based, I won't have it. And
You don't.
I'm focusing on punching the crap out of Willie.
You don't get it. It is sound based. It is okay. Raoul, okay. Skills. Perception. Okay. So Raoul and Fizz, the two of you hear this thud sound.
Has the cart stopped moving?
Nope. Anything you do, Raoul? It sounds like something just fell on the ground outside.
I'm going to keep singing to Willie and then just back up to the door and flip it open. He only needs to be able to see and hear me, Willie. So I'll like glance at the driver's seat.
Okay, so you're singing, you back up to the door, you creak it open. Roll anything you're doing in that time?
If he's checking like the driver's side, I'll open the side door and like not look up, but like look around.
Yeah, you kind of like shield the tops of your eyes and look out of the ground in front. So Fizz, you look out of the driver's door and see there is no Drix. Raoul, you look out of the side door and see Drix rolling and tumbling, having just leaped from the moving caravan, and he begins getting to his feet and sprinting off into the woods nearby.
Fuck! I'm just gonna grab the reins and just pull on the horses to make them to stop.
I'll start chasing him down.
Fizz, are you maintaining your song?
Yeah, it's a free action to maintain, and I just he needs to be able to see and hear me, so I imagine I can like just grab the reins and making eye contact with Willie and be like, yeah.
You begin trying to get the horses to stop, and Fizz or Raoul, you jump off and start running after Drix, who 180s, pulls a short sword and comes sprinting at you.
Let me know if at any point I see this.
You're gonna get to show us your combat.
Yep. Yes, at this point in this year, and you see Fizz has rushed to the front, stopped the carriage. Raoul has jumped off. In the distance behind Raoul, you can see Drix, not much further behind him, suddenly stop on his heels and spin and pull a short sword.
All right. I'll jump out there and go after him.
Okay.
As he's running at me, I'm gonna
He doesn't
try
make it to you.
Right. Did he stop? Did he stop, or are we just like?
No. So, like, if this were to be something in forms of round combat, which I'm just trying to loosely approximating, Raoul and Nithyan get off during your guys' turn. Drix turns and starts to move back towards you with the short sword drawn, but doesn't make it by the end of his turn. Which brings it back to you, to whatever you two are doing.
All right. If he's running at me, does it seem like he's like charging me? Like he's not really thinking what he's doing?
At the moment, it looks like a blind charge. Yes.
All right. I'm gonna in the 10-foot square right in front of him.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do kinetic cover. I'm going to make a wall right in front of him so he runs right into it.
Okay. Nithyan, anything for you? As you see Raoul stomp on the ground and this pillar of earth pulls up in front, blocking the view of Drix.
And I'll just skate off to the sides to try to get around it in case I need to take Drix on.
Okay, so you start going wide.
Yep.
Back to Drix. You get wide, Nithyan, and you see Drix just staring at the wall. Hi, how are you doing today? And he's talking to the wall.
Okay, I'll just stand there and watch him.
All right. He continues talking to the wall as if it were a person. And then turns to his right and starts running.
Okay, I'll chase him down.
I'm gonna maintain my hypnosis on good old Willie. And I'm gonna go to the side door and stick my head out. How far away is like Drix?
Roll a perception check. He's about 40 feet away.
Okay. Glitter dust.
And you rolled high enough to not accidentally look at the sky.
So glitter dust on him, so he needs to make a oh, that's interesting. Okay. Good. What's the save?
I believe it's will.
That's weird. It like changed. Like the spell line had changed. I think it might be 4. Just a second. Will save.
Okay. 17.
And it's the second level. Yeah, that beats it. He saves. So he's covered in glitter dust. Like he's very visible, but he's not blinded. Unfortunately.
All right. So how far did he get away from me now?
He's probably about 35 feet away.
So now I have moved 40. What's his move?
You could catch him.
Okay, I'm gonna catch him and what's the attack to trip?
Combat maneuver bonus, CMB.
I don't know if I'm good at that or not.
Provokes an attack of opportunity if you're.
He's not going to take it.
No, I'm just gonna hit him and stun him and strike him. All right.
I, for some reason, forgot to add these in my character sheet. But I have something in case this doesn't work.
Okay. So you whap him pretty hard.
Okay. He keeps moving. I mean,
yeah.
It didn't
All
affect? Okay, hit him again.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't come around to his turn, but
I hit him again. Flurry of blows. Hit him again.
$14, $20, $34.
All non-lethal.
Okay, yeah.
And if the stunning strike didn't work or whatever, I know there's glitter
The
on him,
last
so it
one
got
stops
easier.
him in his tracks.
Okay.
Raoul, what is it you're doing?
So the last one stops. You just said the last one stops him in his tracks, right?
Yeah, as Nithyan gets up to him, she seems to do something, hit him in the right spot, and he just kind of stops moving.
I'll still do it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do an infusion wild talent, taking 1 point of burn to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be bowling infusion.
Okay.
You bowl over your foes over a sheer mass of kinetic blast. Attempt a trip combat maneuver check against each target damaged by your infusion blast using your con modifier instead of strength modifier to determine your combat maneuver bonus. So here's my. So if this hits him, I get a automatic trip on him. A trip attempt.
Yep.
And what type of damage is this?
Bludgeoning.
All right. So, not all. I mean, you're gonna get your CMB, but the blast itself just hits him right in the side of the head and knocks him clean off his feet. And Drix has gone night night and is on the ground unconscious.
For anyone who's looking at me right now, you see my copper skin turn stonish. It looks gray. Parts of it looks gray.
I'm
There's
looking
patches of-
down and just grabbing him and dragging him back.
Yeah, I'm just saying if anyone takes a quick second to look at me right this second, my skin there's parts of my skin that looks like stone instead of copper.
Nice.
And Raoul, make a perception check as you had to look out ahead of you and target him.
Oh god damn it. Be high enough. Because I'm going to be hard to take down. Oh, thank God.
Okay. You keep your gaze low enough where you're able to do that, but you don't accidentally look up. We're in the horizon behind him. And so, with Fizz still singing lullabies to Willie in the caravan, you drag Drix inside and shut the doors and the windows, and no one goes outside, and no one looks at the sky.
That was a fun one. You guys might have been a little fucked if I failed my my
And as you all begin hunkering down for however long this lasts, hopefully by the morning it's dissipated. We'll pick up there next time.
Cool.
Oh boy.
So there is a look at what I do.
Yeah, that's nice.
And as you would have noticed, every time I do anything like that, I'm always
Thank Thank you for stopping by, everybody at stream. Tomorrow morning, we will be live again with our Curse of the Crimson Throne playthrough around in about 12 hours, actually, from wherever you are. So feel free to come by, stop by, hang out, and have a good time then as well. Until then, have a fantastic night.